What's that noise? Is it the carbon monoxide detector going off in the studio? Oh my God, it's the alert, it's the alert. I must be in imminent danger. Are we being bombed? Are we at war? Dear God, I'd better find food and shelter. Or maybe there's a terrorist attack close by. I'd better check my phone. Oh, there is a very high risk of wildfires nationally. Residents, landowners and visitors should not undertake any activity that could start a fire, including disposable barbecues.
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Fire pits, e-garden incinerators or fireworks. Even a small flame can rapidly develop into a major wildfire, placing lives, homes, businesses and emergency responders at risk. Follow official updates and report signs of fire immediately by calling 999, search gov.uk/alerts. Well, I don't have a barbecue. Let me get this straight. So instead of this alert informing me to maybe move location because I'm in imminent danger from some serious incident, the government is warning me not to have a barbecue. I wasn't planning on one, but I thought that this would be used to inform me of imminent danger, not bossing me about regarding barbecues and how fire works. I mean, every news outlet has been warning of the dangers of weather, so why does the government need to send me a message telling me, again, how fire works? I think most people who have a mobile phone will probably already know how fire works. But surely telling me not to have a barbecue is not, in my view, what the alert system was meant for. Andy Burnham issued this message.
Please, everybody, take the greatest of care. In fact, don't light anything in an outdoor space right now. Britain is a tinderbox right now. And please just have that in your mind. We're going to go into the rest of a weekend that is a difficult weekend. This is not over by any means. We've got 37 fires smouldering around the country, so it could be more. So please bear that in mind.
Well, Louise Haigh said, she's the first secretary, in response to the continued risk of proposed by wildfires, the government has taken the decision to issue an emergency alert to England and Wales. This is the most extensive use of the UK's emergency alert system in response to an active incident and reflects the seriousness with which the government is acting to safeguard people and property. How are they acting? All they've done is play an alarm. Seeming to act is not the same as actually acting. She went on to say, during this period of extreme heat, we are asking people to take simple steps to limit the risk of further fires by following the safety guidance. Everyone can play their part in protecting local communities and supporting our frontline services who are working around the clock to keep people safe. The government will continue to provide every assistance to communities being impacted by these fires, including the deployment of 100 additional military personnel in major incident areas. Oh, I get it. So you can deploy the military in a heartbeat when declaring a major incident like fire, which I would have thought was the job of the fire service, but actually protecting our borders, which is the job of the military, you don't appear to want to send them out in force to do. You go to Israel, where these alerts are a regular occurrence and are taken seriously because they are constantly being bombed. But in this country, if they use them, they're using it right now for nanny-stating us, like telling us not to have barbecues and how fire works. I mean, we may end up ignoring them altogether so they lose all impact when actually we're in serious danger, but we just carry on regardless. We couldn't even get it right. Last night, the alarm kept going off on some phones, even at 10 p.m. as well. Anyone for a cup of tea? Joined now by the chair of the London Green Party, Eugene McCarthy. Eugene, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Now, Eugene, some people...
Thank you for having me on.
Now, I see a use for this alert system, so I'm not opposed to it at all. If there's a major war or there's a bomb going off that is close to me or there's a major terrorist incident maybe close to the location that I am, but I'm not really getting it to tell me how fire works, because it explained how fire works, and not to have a barbecue and things like that. When every news outlet is broadcasting it, we know that we're in a situation. Do you not think that this is a misuse of a very important, useful tool?
I don't know. About like 5 minutes ago, you mentioned Israel having a lot of emergency alerts. They do this exact same thing about wildfires. I don't want to come across as rude to any wonderful Britons out there, but we do have some thickos in this country. I was out watching the eclipse the other evening in a field with lots of very dry grass. There was actually a massive patch of brush which had just been burnt a couple of days ago. And there were these guys next to me smoking with lit cigarettes, dropping them on the floor. Like, there are people out there who really do not understand how fire works. And I appreciate you and I may well find this entirely redundant, but there are a lot of people who really do not understand the consequences of their actions. And if the consequences of their actions are threatening to burn down people's homes, people's livelihoods, then we really should take measures like this. I think it's a bit of a snowflake nation moment that so many people are annoyed by this. It's a beeping on your phone that you can turn off very easily.
No.
And it is used very scarcely. It's not going to deter people from looking at it. You can't ignore it if it is beeping. If for example, you are being bombed, you're not going to miss it.
Yeah, but you see, what we're saying, and I don't think they're being snowflake about it, and they are emphasising the importance of it. And what the government did is they gave you a whole description about how fire works and not to have a barbecue. We've been hearing this all the time anyway. So Anna, you mentioned Israel, so I'm glad you did. Israel are very good with this alarm. They will tell you, they'll bleep if you're close to the wildfire and let you know that you may be in imminent danger. They're not going to be bleeping the entire, their alarms show you, I've actually seen, Uri Geller showed me, as it scrolls, it tells you where the bombs are going in, which are the locations, where they are. But our alert, just a random alert, telling people how fire works, and then they went off again at 10 o'clock by accident on some phones. It's what I'm saying is it's like calling out racism when there's no racism there. It sort of makes the word almost impotent after a while. People start to ignore it and are desensitised.
This has happened once. I think it's the first time we've had a serious rollout of the national alarm use. So there are some bugs and glitches which have happened. I've seen people in parts of Wales which don't speak much Welsh having their alert received in Welsh. There are issues like that which obviously need to be ironed out. But comparing us to Israel, we're completely different climates. Over there, they are used
to having... No, but you compared. I mentioned it. No, I mentioned it because they take their alerts very seriously.
Nanny state, or vital public safety, the escalating battle over Britain's emergency alert system. When millions of mobile phones across England and Wales chimed simultaneously, in unison, echoing a high-pitched siren tone that cut through living rooms and pub gardens alike, the reaction was immediate. For some, it was a necessary and long overdue mobilization of modern technology to tackle a genuinely unprecedented national threat. For others, it was the ultimate symbol of an overbearing state that simply cannot resist the urge to lecture its citizens on how to manage their basic daily lives.
The government had taken the unprecedented step of triggering its National Emergency Alert Network, deploying the most extensive rollout of the system in UK history. The official message urged the public to refrain from lighting disposable barbecues, outdoor fire pits, or fireworks amidst an extraordinary heatwave and severe wildfire warnings. It was a moment designed to project authority, decisive action, and modern crisis management. Yet within minutes, the debate had shifted from the underlying environmental crisis to something far deeper within the British political psyche. Was this a masterclass in swift government intervention, or had Whitehall crossed a line into unnecessary micromanagement? Welcome back to Britain Underneath, where we look far beneath the polished headlines to reveal the true power plays and cultural clashes driving modern British politics. Take a brief moment, settle in, and hit that subscribe button right now. Supporting Britain Underneath ensures we can continue bringing you sharp, unfiltered analysis on the issues shaping our nation. Now, let us dive straight into the heart of this fierce debate. At first glance, The rationale behind the government decision appears straightforward. Fire and rescue services across the country have been pushed to their absolute limits, declaring multiple major incidents as dry conditions transform suburban parks and countryside brush into literal tinderboxes. The government insisted that sending a direct, unmissable message to millions of citizens was the most effective way to prevent further blazes before they start. Ministers pointed out that a single stray spark from an abandoned barbecue or a dropped cigarette butt can destroy homes, jeopardize livelihoods, and endanger emergency personnel within minutes. From a purely administrative standpoint, utilizing an existing high-tech system to deliver preventative safety guidance seems like an entirely sensible, low-cost measure. It represents a proactive state attempting to safeguard its people, protecting public infrastructure and relieving pressure on overstretched frontline services. However, the political backlash was swift, highlighting a growing tension in how state authority is perceived across the country. Critics argue that the national emergency alarm was designed primarily for sudden, imminent and localized threats to life, such as severe flash flooding, active terror incidents, or major chemical spills. By using such an intrusive, high-intensity siren to deliver general public service announcements regarding fire safety, opponents claim the government risks diluting the raw impact of the system altogether. If citizens become accustomed to their phones blaring loudly merely to receive everyday safety reminders, there is a genuine danger they will begin to ignore these warnings or disable the function entirely on their devices. When everything is treated as a high-level panic, nothing feels like a genuine emergency anymore. This controversy strikes at a fundamental political dilemma. Where does necessary governance end and overreach begin? On one side of the aisle, defenders argue that a responsible administration must adapt to modern challenges. In an era where extreme weather events are becoming far more frequent and intense, traditional media broadcasts are no longer sufficient to reach every demographic instantly. A direct mobile alert guarantees that safety guidance reaches the entire population immediately, bypassing the fragmented news landscape. Furthermore, proponents suggest that calling a direct safety warning an act of state overreach misses the broader picture entirely. Protecting communities from preventable destruction is, after all, one of the most basic duties of any functioning government. Yet the opposing perspective remains deeply entrenched. Skeptics view the incident as part of a wider, troubling trend of state paternalism, where government departments increasingly rely on top-down instructions rather than trusting the common sense of the electorate. They point out that news outlets and weather services had already spent days issuing continuous warnings about the heatwave and fire risks. To then trigger a loud, mandatory device alarm to reiterate basic precautions felt to many like an overly heavy-handed gesture designed more to create the illusion of decisive executive action than to offer practical, real-time assistance. When an alert system feels less like an urgent warning of localized peril and more like a nationwide directive on personal behavior, public skepticism is almost guaranteed to follow. There is also the technical and operational reality to consider. Any national alert system is only as credible as its precision and execution. Reports of minor technical glitches, delayed notifications, or language settings misalignments during mass rollouts inevitably invite scrutiny. When the state claims the absolute authority to override silent modes and broadcast directly onto personal devices, its technical execution must be flawless. Any misstep risks turning what should be a solemn tool of national security into a point of frustration or political satire. Ultimately, This debate is about far more than just phone notifications or summer barbecues. It is a reflection of a fundamental disagreement over the role of the contemporary British state. Should the government act as an active paternal guardian that intervenes directly into daily life to prevent collective harm? Or should it remain a restrained entity, reserving its most drastic powers exclusively for direct, unquestionable emergencies, while trusting its citizens to exercise personal responsibility? As ministers continue to navigate severe national challenges, finding the right balance between public protection and state restraint will remain one of the most delicate challenges in modern governance.
Take a breath. Reflect on where you stand on this issue and stay informed on how these decisions directly impact your everyday rights and safety. If you appreciate insightful, balanced, and sharp political commentary that cuts through the noise, please take a quick second to subscribe to Britain Underneath right now. Your subscription directly supports independent political analysis and helps our channel grow. Thank you for watching, and make sure to join us for our next video as we continue to uncover the real stories shaping the United Kingdom.